Today we're going to look at geometric and scientific applications. That basically just means kind of real world-ish type of problems. However, I say real world and then the first example is totally not real world because nobody in the real world uses simple interest formula. Pretty much every institution that involves interest uses some form of weirdly compounded interest. The simple interest formula is interest equals principal times rate times time. And you need to note that time is years. P, principal, that's how much you start with. That's how much you deposit. R is your interest rate. It's written as a decimal. And then T is the amount of time. So you deposit $5,000 in an account. That would be your P, paying simple interest. After 6 months, that would be your T, the account has earned $162.50. What is the annual interest rate? So we know that the interest is $162.50. We know that the principal, the amount that we started with, was $5,000. We don't know the interest rate. For the time, what should we put in there? 0.5. Because, I'm going to make a little note, 6 months is 0.5 years. That T has to be in years. So if they give you something other than years, you have to first convert it to years. Okay, so we can, on the right side, multiply the 5,000 and the 0.5 to each other. So we have 162.50 equals 2,500 times R. And then to finish solving this, we would divide both sides by 2,500. Grab a calculator, beep, bop, boop. If you leave your answer like this, it will be counted incorrect. The answer is not 0.065. What does 0.065 mean? 6.5%. The interest rate was 6.5%. The inside cover of your textbook has a whole bunch of formulas, so if they ever reference a formula that you don't know, try opening the front cover of your book. There's tons of formulas there. A dime has a circumference of about 56.27 millimeters. What is the radius of the dime? Round your answer to 2 decimal places. So, circumference, we would need to look up what is the formula for circumference if we don't remember it. There's actually 2 formulas for circumference that are exactly the same, just written a little bit differently. The one that I remember is pi d. Circumference equals pi times the diameter. You can also write that as circumference equals 2 pi r. Because 2 times the radius is the diameter, so ultimately we still have the diameter times pi. Since they are asking us for the radius of the dime, I'm going to go ahead and use this formula that already has the r in it so that I don't have to think when I get my answer. The circumference is 56.27 millimeters. And r, we don't know. Okay, what is happening in between the 2 and the pi and the r? Multiplication. How do you undo multiplication? So you can divide both sides by 2 pi. To do that in your calculator in one step, you just need to put parentheses around the 2 pi. So in this calculator, I would do 56.27 divided by parentheses 2 pi button. My pi button is above the exponent key, above the division. And I get 8.96. It said round the answer to 2 decimal places, but do you also see how it says the circumference of about 56.27? So when they calculated the circumference, they probably rounded. So what probably was the radius before they started? If it's 8.96, it's probably 9. It was probably 9 millimeters. But they said round to 2 decimal places. So our answer is 8.96 millimeters. Here's another geometric formula problem. I've seen problems like this on ACT tests. 2 sides of a triangle have the same length. We'll call that x. The third side is 7 meters less than 4 times that length. The perimeter is 83 meters. What are the lengths of the 3 sides of the triangle? So 7 meters less than 4 times that length. First, let's talk about 4 times that length. What do you think that would be? 4x? 7 meters less than that would be minus 7. Perimeter means add the sides together, and the perimeter is 83. Take a moment on your own. Find what x is, and then find the lengths of the 3 sides. Pause the video. Once you figure out that x is 15, you do have to think about actually answering the question, what are the lengths of the 3 sides of the triangle? The lengths are 15, 15, and to find the third length, you can either plug 15 in and do 4 times 15 and then minus 7, or you can think about 83 minus 30. The third length is 53. And we should probably put meters somewhere in there. Okay, examples 4, 5, and 6. You are going to want to copy down at least the beginning part of each problem. These are problems that you may not have seen before, and setting them up, once you get them set up, they are not difficult. It's just equations that need to be solved using distributive property, whatever. It's getting them set up in the first place. So you invested a total of $10,000 in 2 funds, earning 4.5% and 5.5% simple interest. During 1 year, the 2 funds earn a total of $508.75 in interest. How much did you invest in each fund? We're basically going to use I equals PRT. So this is really using that interest equals principal times rate times time, but we're going to have to do that with 2 separate funds. So we've got Fund 1, Fund 2, and then our total. Total interest, we are earning $508.75. That will happen when we add our interest from Fund 1 and our interest from Fund 2. So in Fund 1, we need to do PRT. In Fund 2, we need to do PRT. Add those together to get the total interest. Here's the really good news. Here's our T. Does multiplying by 1 change anything? So we don't really have to think about T. Really, we're just thinking about principal times rate. So in Fund 1, the rate is 0.045. That's 4.5% written as a decimal. How much money are we putting in Fund 1? Do we know? That seems like a great thing to use X for. We don't know it, so we'll say X. Fund 2 is 0.055. That's 5.5% written as a decimal. Now for that amount, it's whatever is left after the amount that we put in Fund 1. So it would be 10,000 minus X, our total amount of money minus however much we put in Fund 1. All right, so we have 0.045x. What do you suppose we need to do with this 0.055 in the parentheses? Distribute. So let's take a moment and distribute. Then we can combine like terms. That gives us negative 0.01x plus 550 equals 508.75. Do you feel like you could finish solving that on your own fairly easily? Yeah. Remember, once you get your X was the amount of money that we put in Fund 1. So, let me change to a different color. Fund 1, we invested $4,125. Fund 2, we would have to do 10,000 minus 4,125. We invested $5,875. Does that kind of make sense that you invested more in the account that earned more interest? Yeah, makes sense. A chemist needs to strengthen a 15% boric acid solution with a pure boric acid solution to obtain a 32% solution. How much pure boric acid should be added to 100 milliliters of the 15% solution? Okay, we are going to have information about the 15% solution. I should use a different color. We are going to take the 15% solution, add the pure solution to get a 32% solution. The 32% solution is our goal. Okay. We have 100 milliliters of the 15% solution. So basically, I want to know how much of that 100 milliliters is actual boric acid. So I'm going to do 0.15 times that 100 milliliters that we have. Pure. What percentage do you suppose is pure? 100%. 100% as a decimal is 1. We don't know how much of that we need. We want this to be 32%, so 0.32, and this will be 100 plus x. My